FGM came over to this country with immigration, and it's mainly practiced in some countries in Africa, parts of the Arabian Peninsula, and increasingly it's migrating to other parts of the world.
This practice has been going on for probably more than 4,000 years. It's not a religious practice. Most people are doing it as a cultural practice.
Because the communities tend to have a stronger hold on tradition, immigrant communities, I mean. So they want to belong more to their traditional communities. They want to emphasize the fact that they are of this background. So they tend to hold on these values stronger, even stronger than where they come from.
The irony of it is that it's been done by women on children. The grandmothers, the mothers are the ones who push their little girls to have it done because of the belief that it helps them. They think it helps them to sort of maintain marriage and therefore not be promiscuous and things like that.
It doesn't have health benefits, it doesn't have mental benefits. The effects of FGM, you carry them for the rest of your life. I always say, once you have undergone any kind of or type of FGM, it's like wearing a second skin. You never take it off. The effects follow you for the rest of your life. You think about them, you try not to, but you do think about them a lot.
This is a traumatic procedure that really causes a lot of problems to young girls. A lot depends on how much of the genitalia has been cut. So by the practitioner. So some obviously might even experience problems passing urine. Some might experience problems having their normal periods, and then let alone come into sexual relationship, and then childbirth and other things that will then follow. Complications of delivery, complications, rupture, or even damage to the opening of the womb that may actually allow for normal child delivery to happen. So these are things that can cause a lot of problems long term, and we don't forget the psychological impact it has on these girls. And in fact, a lot of the men from the experience or from the studies indicate that when women have these problems and they have complications, the marriage fails anyway. So then it becomes counterproductive.
Well, it is illegal. It's also illegal to take a girl out of the country for the purposes of FGM. And a lot of families don't actually know that.
And it's not just for those who are actually committing the act, for those who encourage it, for those who facilitate it, anybody who's involved in. They're breaking the law, and there must be a good reason why it's illegal. It's illegal because it's harmful, and it destroys the ability of the girl to live a fulfilled life. It's not illegal because someone wants to pick on ethnic minorities. It's illegal for a good medical and psychological reason.
The law is out there to protect us as families, as women, as children, as communities.
All hospitals in the UK and other institutions where they have the ability to examine women when they come to have problems, mainly through doctors. Once they identify there has been a female genital mutilation, they are obliged to report it. And when they report it, the investigations will start to cascade from the family onwards. And it's not something any family would wish to see or would wish to have.
It is really important that the law is implemented, that we see some prosecutions and successful prosecutions, because we haven't yet had that in this country, although of course in mainland Europe they have, particularly France. They've had a number of successful prosecutions. And I think we have to have that to show that we're serious.
So I hope people take heed and prevent that from happening.
This is a really important issue about human rights for girls and women. And we care as much about women from those communities in the city as we do about any others. So it's important to us that we really do something to try and change this and protect the girls and women in our city.
There has to be communication out to reach these communities in their own local language.
It's to empower the enlightened people. There are hundreds of enlightened individuals amongst the practicing communities who would love to put an end to this. We need to empower these people, women in particular.
To make them understand the mechanisms of what they are doing and how it is affecting these young girls, to show them the figures, to show them the facts, and make them see the reasoning behind it. Anybody who has learned about it, who can talk about it, is actually empowered to do that. But you must do it with compassion, with respect to the communities.
And the moment we start to work with our own laws, our own safeguarding procedures, we'll understand what it means for a healthy child, a healthy marriage, a healthy woman, because that's all we want.
Well, politically what we've done, which I think we're the only council so far in the country to have done this, we've taken a motion through full council condemning the practice and committing ourselves to working against it. And I think that politically, taking that high profile lead is really important. And I hope other local authorities will do the same. We're involved in quite a lot of training with all sorts of different professionals because we need to raise people's awareness of this as an issue because they don't necessarily think about it. Also, we're going to be supporting communities. We're also going to be doing education, particularly amongst men. Interestingly, when we've done some work with men in the city, they do say that they've actually never been consulted. People don't talk to them about it.
If men can come forward and say, I don't want it to happen to my child, I don't want it to happen to my wife, I don't want to see my wife struggle anymore, communities will listen. And even through the process of healing, we need our men there.
There is this assumption that men want this, but actually when they realise the true horror of what is done to girls with this mutilation, many of them are just saying, well, we don't want that. Because this isn't just an issue for women, this is an issue for men. And this practice is performed so that women are more marriageable. That isn't acceptable. And so we have to tackle it, as men and women together, and we'll be making sure that we do that.
We need our communities to work together to realise that the only way we can stop FGM is for us to admit that it's happening in our communities. We as practicing communities have to start taking responsibility. We have to start saying it stops with us.
We need to empower women to become counselors, psychologists, nurses, police officers, midwives. We need to give them the opportunity to confront it. It's not good talking top down to them. We need to enable people from these communities who practice this illegal and harmful. And I'm ashamed of it, that we are in the 21st century and still children dying because we want to prevent women from enjoying themselves. It breaks my heart. We need communities to understand the impact on the child's psychology. How could a child who lost trust in her parents be a good parent, be a good productive member of the community? That's why we need to do everything we can. But first we need to empower the enlightened, the courageous women from these communities to take a leading role. And it's not just handing them a leaflet. It's a lot deeper than that. We need to enable them to be a decision maker. And that's when we will succeed.
And I think that it's really important that it's those communities themselves who are actually making sure that the change happens, so that it's not imposed from outside, it's changed from within. And there is definitely that energy within communities to change things for future generations.
FGM need to stop. It's child abuse, it's abuse to women. You can't go on in life without thinking about it if you have undergone FGM. You carry on. No matter how many sessions you go for therapy, when you close the door, you're on your own. Communities need to act together. It has to stop. There's no need, there's no place for it. Not anymore. Not anymore.